Welcome back. Right now, 5:30, a South Carolina man is facing federal charges after he allegedly threatened to kill President Donald Trump. Police arrested 47-year-old Travis Lang. He pleaded not guilty in federal court Friday, and then the judge denied bond. Court documents also allege that Lang threatened to, quote, take the life of, to kidnap, and to inflict bodily harm upon the President of the United States, end quote. Secret Service now investigating the allegations. Joining me now, Chief Legal Analyst Khalifa Rhodes. I mean, when you threaten the President of the United States of America, you know that's a felony. You know that's pretty serious. So give us the history of this and what the court's reaction to this is.
This is a weird position. Let's first say this. 100%, this is something you want to take serious. I think any threat against any person, regardless if they're president or not, it needs to be taken serious. I mean, because we're in just really weird times right now. But let's say this. The courts have been, I should say, all over the place with the way they handle these types of things. And because we're talking about speech, First Amendment, our country, you have the freedom to do a number of things, specifically speak your mind at any time you want. But when that speech grows over and it comes over to action, I mean, it makes a person feel like they're threatened, specifically the president. Then the courts have taken a couple of ways. You've had ones against Roosevelt back in the 40s, in the 30s, those types of cases. When folks were attempting to make threats against him, that the courts were like, we're going to go ahead and prosecute these to the fullest. Fast forward to Obama with social media, I think it changed a little bit. Even going back to Bush, when George Bush had the shoe thrown at him, there was a Facebook group that was made up and it said, let's kill Bush with shoes. There was about 400 members. The FBI didn't know really how to handle that. They're like, well, these are real threats. These are people that are saying they want to harm and kill the president, but do we actually prosecute these folks? And that was the discussion that the court was trying to say, well, has it really jumped over the line of a First Amendment speech violate, or is it some type of real threat? So it's really a mixed bag. The Obama cases I brought up quickly, they found him guilty in the first court. Court of Appeals overturned. They said, no, this is free speech. So it's a 50-50 shot right now, but the courts have really determined on, was the speech intended, was it willful, and was it something that they were knowingly doing? Okay,
well, let's talk about that, the language. It says there, the court records allege that Lang did knowingly and willfully make these threats against the president. So that kind of shows that he was in his right state of mind, correct?
Well, that's what the statute has to prove. You have to be in your right state of mind. And so that every charge has elements. So those are the two elements, the crucial elements that would be there. And so if we're saying that this person was willful and they knowingly did it, the willful part meant it was something that you were doing with malice, that you had intent to do it. Now, the knowingly part, that goes to state of mind. 75% of the folks that do these threats, looked at the numbers that the Secret Service put out, are in some type of diminished capacity, and so they are outside of their mind. And so when you're talking about these types of threats, those are folks that wouldn't be able to be prosecuted. But the folks that are outside of that, the 25%, yes, they would meet those two elements, and they would be able to be prosecuted, but you have to have that knowing part. It's not just I'm throwing words up there and I'm saying random things, but I know what I intend to do.
Okay, quickly, Lang was denied bond. We reported that, yet his next court date before a judge is set for this Friday, actually, 11 o'clock in the morning. So why have a bond hearing that you're going to see the judge again?
That happens in every criminal case. So first of all, you're arrested, then you'll have something called your initial appearance or your first appearance. The judge will tell you what you're charged with, address counsel, and then they'll say, hey, I'm either going to set a bond or I'm not going to set a bond. There really won't be any hearing. There won't be any back and forth. I had one of those this morning. I requested my client get out. The judge set a bond. However, an actual bond hearing will be evidence will be presented. There'll be arguments made. Both sides will say why this person should get a bond, a lower bond or no bond. That will be a full-fledged hearing. Not anything long, anything short, that will be long. So that's why.
Just quickly, if he is convicted, the most time that he could get is 5 years in jail time or possibly a fine or possibly both.
Yeah, I mean, because it's no action. It's only words. And so I think that's commensurate to the crime, for sure.
All right, Khalifa Rhodes, appreciate your insight as always.